The Alphabet Murders, a chilling unsolved mystery in Rochester, New York. Between 1971 and 1973, the city of Rochester, New York, was gripped by fear as three young girls, Carmen Colón, Wanda Walkowicz, and Michelle Maenza, were abducted, sexually assaulted, strangled, and dumped in rural areas near the city. These horrific crimes, dubbed the Alphabet Murders or double initial murders, remain unsolved to this day, leaving a haunting mark on the community and baffling investigators for over 5 decades. The cases are notable not only for their brutality but also for a peculiar pattern. Each victim's first and last names began with the same letter, and their bodies were found in towns matching those initials: Carmen in Churchville, Wanda in Webster, and Michelle in Macedon. Was this a deliberate choice by a calculating killer, or a chilling coincidence? Here's a detailed look at the cases, drawing from contemporary newspaper reports and ongoing investigations tailored for an American audience seeking to understand this enduring mystery. The victims and the crimes. Carmen Colón, the first tragedy. On November 16, 1971, 10-year-old Carmen Colón, a Puerto Rican girl living with her grandparents in Rochester's inner city, left her home around 4:30 p.m. to pick up a prescription for her grandfather at a nearby drugstore. Described as slightly mentally challenged and speaking limited English, Carmen was a familiar face in her Bull's Head neighborhood, often running errands for her family. She reached the pharmacy but left before collecting the prescription, never to be seen alive again by her family. Approximately an hour later, around 5:30 p.m., motorists on what would later become Interstate 490 spotted a distressing scene: a naked girl, believed to be Carmen, running along the highway, waving her arms frantically as if trying to escape a car reversing in pursuit. Shockingly, none of the roughly 100 drivers who passed by stopped to help, later telling police they were going too fast or in a hurry to get home. One witness reported seeing Carmen being led back to the vehicle by the arm, suggesting she may have known her abductor. 2 days later, on November 18, 1971, 2 teenage boys biking along Stearns Road in Riga, near Churchville, discovered Carmen's naked body in a ditch, initially mistaking it for a broken doll. An autopsy revealed she had been raped and strangled by hand, likely a day earlier. Her death shattered the sense of safety in Rochester, prompting a massive police search and public outrage. 5 billboards, each 30 feet by 12 feet, were erected along major expressways in early 1972, displaying Carmen's picture and offering a $6,000 reward for information leading to her killer's arrest. Despite generating leads, no suspects were identified. Wanda Walkowicz, the second victim. 17 months later, on April 2, 1973, 11-year-old Wanda Walkowicz, a quiet and responsible girl from Rochester's Avenue D neighborhood, was sent by her mother Joyce to a Conkey Avenue supermarket around 5:15 p.m. to buy groceries, including tuna fish, milk, cupcakes, and cat food. Wanda, known as the Little Redhead of Avenue D, completed her purchase but never made it home. A witness reported seeing her hesitating near a stopped car while holding her groceries, suggesting she may have been lured into the vehicle. The next morning, April 3, 1973, a New York State trooper discovered Wanda's fully clothed body at a rest area off State Route 104 in Webster, about 7 miles. She had been sexually assaulted and strangled, possibly with a belt or similar ligature. Disturbingly, the autopsy revealed she had been fed before her death, leading police to speculate the killer used food, such as a hamburger and soft drink, to gain her trust. White cat hair was found on her body, though her family did not own a pet with white fur. The similarities to Carmen's case: abduction during the day, sexual assault, strangulation, and disposal near a roadway prompted fears of a serial killer, though police initially downplayed the connection publicly. A televised reconstruction of Wanda's abduction, aired by WOKR in October 1973, generated over 200 calls but no viable leads. Michelle Maenza, the final known victim. On November 26, 1973, 11-year-old Michelle Maenza, a sweet and soft-spoken girl from Rochester's Webster Crescent area, was reported missing after failing to return home from school. That day, after enduring bullying at school, Michelle set out alone around 3:20 p.m. to retrieve a purse her mother, Carolyn, had left at a nearby shopping plaza. Witnesses saw her in the passenger seat of a beige or tan vehicle speeding along Ackerman Street, and later at a fast food restaurant in Penfield's Panorama Plaza, sitting in a car with a man described as having dirty hands who returned with a bag and a cup. Another witness reported seeing a similar man with a flat tire on the roadside, with a girl matching Michelle's description in the back seat. 2 days later, on November 28, 1973, Michelle's body was found in a ditch in Macedon, Wayne County, about 20 miles from Rochester. Like Wanda, she had been sexually assaulted, strangled with a ligature, and had eaten a burger before her death. White cat hair was also found on her body. Police released a composite sketch of the suspect based on witness descriptions. But despite hundreds of tips, no arrests were made. The similarities among the three cases: daytime abductions, sexual assault, strangulation, and disposal in towns matching the victims' initials convinced investigators they were likely dealing with a serial killer. The alphabet pattern, coincidence or design? The most striking aspect of these murders was the double initial pattern Carmen Colón, CC, found in Churchville, Wanda Walkowicz, WW in Webster, and Michelle Maenza, MM, in Macedon. This led to speculation that the killer deliberately selected victims based on their names and chose disposal sites to match. However, investigators like Lieutenant Anthony Fantagrassi questioned how a killer could predict the movements of children like Carmen and Wanda, who were abducted while running errands. Police ultimately leaned toward the pattern being coincidental, focusing instead on the shared vulnerabilities of the victims. All three girls came from impoverished, single-parent households in Rochester's inner city, often relying on welfare. They attended Catholic schools, struggled to make friends, and faced challenges such as bullying or learning disabilities. Carmen and possibly Michelle were described as having mild mental challenges, while Wanda was a habitual truant in a home marked by instability. These factors likely made them vulnerable to a predator offering affection or small rewards, as suggested by psychiatrist Dr. David Barry in a 1973 New York Times article. The girls' abductions occurred in broad daylight near their homes, suggesting the killer was someone who blended into the community, possibly appearing trustworthy or authoritative. Suspects and investigations. Over 800 suspects were interviewed, but no one was ever charged. Two individuals stood out as strong contenders. Dennis Termini, a 25-year-old Rochester firefighter. Known as the Garage Rapist, Termini committed at least 14 rapes of teenage girls between 1971 and 1973. He owned a beige vehicle matching witness descriptions and lived on Box Street, near where Michelle Maenza was last seen. A map in his car was found folded to highlight Wayne County, where Michelle's body was discovered, and white cat hair in his vehicle matched evidence from Wanda and Michelle's bodies. On January 1, 1974, 5 weeks after Michelle's murder, Termini attempted to abduct a teenager at gunpoint, but fled when she screamed. Pursued by police after another attempted abduction, he died by suicide, shooting himself in the head. In 2006, his body was exhumed for DNA testing, but samples from Wanda's body did not match, and no evidence remained from Carmen or Michelle's cases.
Kenneth Bianchi, later infamous as one of the Hillside Stranglers in California.
Bianchi lived in Rochester during the Alphabet murders, working as an ice cream vendor and security guard roles that gave him access to children. He owned a car similar to those described by witnesses, but no concrete evidence linked him to the crimes. Other suspects, like Carmen's uncle Michelle Colón, were investigated but never charged due to insufficient evidence. Some theorized the killer could have been a transient, such as a truck driver familiar with Rochester's rural outskirts. Ongoing efforts and legacy. The only remaining physical evidence is a DNA sample from Wanda Walkowicz's clothing, which has yet to yield a match despite advancements in forensic technology. Investigators remain hopeful that new techniques such as genetic genealogy could provide a breakthrough. The New York State Police continue to seek leads, urging the public to contact them at 585. 3984100 or email nysvicap@troopers.ny.gov with any information. The alphabet murders profoundly impacted Rochester, shattering its sense of safety and prompting parents to tighten supervision of their children. The cases inspired books, a fictionalized film, and ongoing media coverage, keeping the victims' names alive. Carmen, Wanda, and Michelle were laid to rest in Rochester's Holy Sepulchre Cemetery, their funerals drawing hundreds of mourners. Michelle's father, Christopher Maenza, remembered her as a sweet little girl who didn't fight much, a heartbreaking testament to her vulnerability. A call for justice. More than 50 years later, the alphabet murders remain one of New York's most haunting unsolved cases. The eerie double-initial pattern, whether intentional or coincidental, continues to captivate true crime enthusiasts and frustrate investigators. For the families of Carmen, Wanda, and Michelle, the pain endures, as does their hope for closure. As Rochester has evolved, the memory of these three girls serves as a somber reminder of a predator who exploited their vulnerabilities and evaded justice. With DNA evidence still viable in Wanda's case, there's hope that one day, a match will finally bring answers to a community forever changed by these tragedies. If you have any information about the alphabet murders, please contact the New York State Police at 585-398-4100 or email crimetip@troopers.ny.gov. Every tip could be the key to solving this decades-old mystery.